Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I created this encapsulated money design with some ombre, and we're also going to talk a little bit about shaping. So starting off here, I do want to point out that I am holding my file straight up against the nail tips. I am not going up under the nail tips. I am holding my file straight up against the side walls. And then again, coming in on this nail, I have my file straight against the side wall. These are the tips that I normally use. I do want to point out that when you are using nail tips that have a curve, these nail tips do not have a dramatic curve, but they do have a slight curve to them. And when you're using these type of nail tips, it is especially important to make sure that you're not taking your nail file up under that tip, because it will contribute to rounding out the edges, and that is not going to give you a crisp shape. When I'm filing, I do find it really helpful to stop every so often and compare the shapes of all the nail tips. That way I can make sure that the shape is consistent. Here I am turning her hand around to file the free edge of the tips. I find this to be the best way to do it because I can make sure that the line is straight and even, and I can also make sure that all of the nails are exactly the same length. That is definitely a pet peeve for me. I do prefer all of the nails to be the exact same length. So sometimes I do have people ask me why my pinky nails always look so long. They are not longer than any of the other nails. They are all the exact same length. Once you're done filing and etching the surface, this is what it should look like. Unfortunately, I was not actually recording while I put down her clear base, so that was an accident on my part. For that, I just used my favorite, my Young Nails Core Clear in Protein Bond. I do prefer to always put down a clear base whenever I'm doing any kind of acrylic art. I find that it helps out a lot with lifting, and it also makes it easier to have something to file back down to if the person should decide that they want a different design the next time. For the ombre, I am using the pink from the Valentino Beauty Pure pastel collection, and I am using Mia Secret Cover Pink. When I'm doing ombre, I always start in about the middle of the nail and I work my way down to the free edge. I know that some people don't always like to fade their ombre in the middle, but I do prefer to fade that first color towards the cuticle, just because I find that when I go in with my second color, if that first color already has a bit of a fade to it, it makes it a little bit easier to blend. Now coming in on this nail is also going to be an ombre nail, and I'm going to do it pretty much the same way that I did the other two, except I am going to add some iridescent glitter and some gold foil. Before I cap my ombre design in clear, I do like to take a little bit of monomer and wet the surface of the nail. This helps the clear acrylic glide down the nail and it makes for less air bubbles. So right here, there is a bit of a long pause. I'm pretty sure this is when I realized that my nail glue was spilling out on the table and it got all over my hands. Like, I mean, everywhere, on all of my fingers, my palms, everywhere. That's why you could see that black piece and like all that crustiness around my cuticles now. Yeah, so I spilled the nail glue everywhere, but whatever. I'm just using the glue to glue down the pieces of money that I cut out. Yes, it was a real dollar, so I did have to cut out all of those pieces. It was not pre-cut. Now I'm just going to go in and place some of those iridescent pieces and some gold foil all over the money. Now here, when I come in to cap this nail, I actually do not recommend doing it this way, just because I kind of made a little bit of a mess while I was doing it, because I just went in with way too big of a bead, and on top of the money and the design, it kind of was just going everywhere. So I actually would recommend that you just place the bead in the middle to start with and work your way to the free edge, and then go in with your cuticle bead. Now you're going to see me literally struggling right here to keep this glitter on this nail. I know sometimes people will use clear acrylic to pick up glitter. I prefer not to do that because I kind of feel like it starts to make the nail bulky. So I try to use the least amount of acrylic as possible when I'm picking up loose glitter, but I was struggling with this. Whenever you're doing any kind of acrylic artwork or designs, it's really important to remember to keep those designs as thin as possible, because you do want to go back over those designs and cap them with clear to make sure that when you go in to file, you don't file away the design that you created. When you're using bigger pieces of glitter like this, it is definitely important to keep in mind that placement is key. You cannot just slap glitter on. You do need to make sure that you're placing it in a way that's appealing. Now I'm going in on that second hand doing essentially the exact same thing. So I'll just go ahead and let you guys watch this part. So after laying down all of the acrylic, I do like to go in with the hand file first before I go in with my e-file. So right now what I'm doing is just refining the edges. So while I'm filing, as I'm keeping my nail file pressed straight up against the sides of the nails, I am also making pretty long strokes. I'm not using really short strokes with my nail file.
So right here, I'm just using my e-file to smooth over the tops of the nails and make sure that everything is even. And once I'm done doing that, I am gonna go back in and file those sidewalls one more time. And now to finish, I'm going to go ahead and top it off with some gel top coat. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know if this was helpful.